Ah, paper Yu-Gi-Oh! Nothing beats grabbing a deck, sitting right across from your opponent, and watching the light leave their eyes as you combo them into oblivion. There ain't no better feeling. But what happens if you can't find an opponent, or you can't afford to buy all the cards, or you just like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In your boxers at midnight? Well, for these problems and more, digital games are the answer. A little while back, I created a video showing you how you can start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For under $20. But what I neglected to mention in that video is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a variety of digital games. Today, I'm going to be showing you two of these digital games that are not only fantastic, but are both games you can start playing for absolutely free. First up is Yu-Gi-Oh!'s most recent game, Master Duel. This game follows the same rules as the original card game, and it's been released on almost everything, both current and last-gen consoles, plus PC. Its card pool is also absurdly big, containing almost every card ever made. The game uses its own forbidden list that's separate from the TCG and OCG though. For those looking to train for tournaments, this could be considered a downside, since some of the decks that you make in Master Duel might not be as good in the TCG, and vice versa. However, I find that the new lists lead to a much more enjoyable experience overall. Certain decks that were banned into oblivion are back, such as BA Block Dragon or Sky Strikers. Meanwhile, they finally banned Dragoon and some other overpowering strategies. With amazing UI, a gigantic card pool, and a fantastic forbidden list, I have to say that this game overall is the best way to play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Digitally. However, the game's not completely free of flaws. The multiplayer game modes it provides are rather limiting. There's only two constant modes, those being Ranked Duel and Free Roam. It'd be nice to see features such as new formats with specific card pools, or structure deck only duels for new players. I mean, even just getting the ability to play speed duels would be a welcome addition. But what may be the game's biggest drawback is no fault of its own. As I mentioned before, this may be the best way to play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Digitally. But that's just it. It's modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you're a returning player, Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably looks pretty different from when you last played it. This is how an average turn of Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to go. Alright, start my turn. I'm gonna normal summon my Celtic Guardian and attack you for 1400. Then, I'm gonna play a face down and end my turn. Try and beat that. This is how the average turn of Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes nowadays. We're gonna start things off with Tour Guide, which will of course allow us to grab a level 3 Fiend-type monster. We're choosing Graph. We are then going to overlay those two into a Dante. Both Dante's and Sir's effects will trigger. I will choose Dante to activate Sir's effect. I will use Dante's effect to add Sir back to my hand. Bring out Beatrice. Activate Blackluster Soldier, Envoy the Beginnings effect. Rainbow Neos. The 4,500, 3,000, 2,500. Yeah, that's game. Good game. You see, it's just a little different. But if you are a returning player looking to recapture that old Yu-Gi-Oh! Feel, then don't worry, because there is an answer. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links is another free-to-play game released for Steam, iOS, and Android. The game uses an altered rule set, which should be familiar to anyone who's played a speed duel before. The main changes are that your life points are cut in half, and your monster and spell zones are both reduced to 3 each. These limitations may seem negative at first, but they work well for what the game's trying to accomplish. The game is aiming to create a simplified experience and recapture the feel of early Yu-Gi-Oh! To that end, the card pool has also been carefully curated, and modern mechanics such as link monsters have been left out. The few mechanics the game does add to gameplay are done so to increase the game's accessibility and make it feel more like you're playing in an episode of the anime. You can play as all sorts of different characters from the show, and they all have their own unique abilities which affect gameplay. This is extremely helpful for new players, since if they're ever unsure what deck they should build, they can just pick a character and build a deck around their skills. But just like Master Duel, Duel Links isn't flawless. All the cards in the game were brought over directly from the original card game, without any modifications. Due to the rules changes Duel Links provides, it can mean that some cards are either overpowered or underpowered compared to what they were in the original game. Also, making your ideal deck can be a hassle, as cards and abilities can be locked behind paywalls or multi-hour long grinds. And while the game is technically available on Steam, it's very obvious that it was designed specifically for mobile devices. Overall, Duel Links isn't perfect, but it does what it set out to do. If you're confused by the modern version of the game, wanting to play like they do in the anime, or just feel like revisiting that old school Yu-Gi-Oh!, then this is the game for you. So those are just a few options on how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Digitally, but there's many more, especially if you're willing to spend a little cash or have access to older consoles. So which one's the best? Well, that all depends what you're looking for. For me, I love the combo-heavy modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, so I've been really enjoying Master Duel. But you could be looking for something entirely different. That's the great thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no wrong way to enjoy the game. Well, I guess there is one.